Hello, my queens. This is The Sit Down, and I'm joined by actors Gabrielle Union and Jessica Alba, the stars and executive producers of the show LA's Finest. Good morning, y'all.
Good morning.
I'm so excited to have y'all here. Stars, icons, businesswomen. I love it. Okay, so LA's Finest is a spin-off of course, the Bad Boys franchise, which iconic. You're reprising your role as Syd.
Yeah.
Was that always part of the plan? Is that always something you've wanted to do?
No, absolutely not. Like, we were just kind of having some cocktails, talking about whatever happened to different characters I've played over the years. So it was like, is Isis like a Laker girl now? Is she like a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader? You know, whatever happened to Syd, or her and Mike Lowry married? Are they in couples counseling? Did she have to go to HR, the DEA?
I mean.
And then we were kind of like, wait, that might be a show. And so jokingly, we kind of took it to Jerry Bruckheimer. He's like, no, that absolutely is a show.
So
and
great.
Here we are a year later.
So I hear Bad Boys 3 is happening in 2020.
Yeah.
Will we see Syd there?
No.
No?
Syd wasn't invited.
Okay. Oh, no. How dare they? Trash. I will have a word with Jerry Bruckheimer later. I'm excited. You play her partner at the LAPD. What's it like getting to play like a leading woman in an action drama?
I mean, I started my career sort of doing this with Dark Angel when I was 17.
Shout out to Dark Angel.
Yeah,
okay.
and the last time I actually signed a TV contract was 20 years ago when I was 17. And so it was all sort of surreal to be back in doing television again. But I was just so happy to be part of a show that Gab created. You know, like, Gab's been an incredible actress all these years. We sort of grew up in the business together, and to be able to partner up with her and bring this show to life and do something that people really haven't seen before.
Right.
In action franchises, the women get to be saved, even if they are considered capable. They're not capable enough to save themselves.
Right.
Or they're very masculine, and they're very sort of one note, very serious and
There's a lot of tight buns.
Right.
You know,
A lot of tight buns.
Very tight buns, and
If you don't have a tight bun, you're not capable.
you know, the brows always. And we're cracking jokes. We're girls you want to hang out with. We're not alike. Our characters are different in our approach to our work, and then in our personalities. But we get along, and we got each other's back. And, you know, if there are moments where we need to be saved, we save each other.
Yeah, because the other thing I feel like when you do see women in the action context, they're by themselves.
Yes.
Right? It's like maybe a team, or they're totally by themselves. You don't get to see two women supporting each other. So was that something also that was important to you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And women of color.
Yeah, hello. Okay, also that.
My goodness. We might look like, you know, global citizens.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. You know, Gabby, we get live from you on Twitter, and I love that you participate in conversations, not just about entertainment, but social issues, racism, violence, police brutality. And so I wanted to ask you, too, how do you navigate doing a show, you know, where you're playing cops? You know, bad boys are not exactly, you know, the model citizens, so to speak, while also thinking about, you know, what's going on in our country.
We have daily conversations about that on set. And we just, honestly, we have to
be self-aware.
Be very aware, and we sometimes change setups. We're like, what we're doing is actually police brutality. So we have to handle this differently.
Approach, and we have the writers there on set, and you know, a lot of people who write procedurals just kind of go through the motions. Right. Or it's like, this is what a typical cop would do, and we have like LAPD consultants there, and we're like, pause.
Right.
But if we're going to be the example of what's not being done, but what could be done,
we need to do it
let's
better.
take that approach.
I love that.
And so sometimes we're not always going to, when in doubt, shoot our gun. When in doubt, sometimes we try to take a different approach. We try to talk. We try, if we have to do hand-to-hand combat, we'll do that even. And that is something that is just not as common.
And we're not going to arrest you for weed. We're going to smoke it with you.
Okay.
Like, you literally see in the pilot, me roll up a J and smoke it.
We're like, listen, we are in LA.
Listen, and because it's like, it's not about arresting everybody for dumb little things. It's about actually, you know, protecting and serving and showing what that can look like.
Real dangerous people. But if someone's just like doing the damn thing. Like, let them live their life.
Right. Absolutely. Because cops are also a part of our community.
Yeah, we're not trying to contribute to the prison population.
Okay, shout out.
Listen.
You better be hopeful.
Listen, who else just saw, Ava's documentary? Like, that's not what this show is about. Totally. It's a different kind of police work. And the fact that our characters both have some not so, by the book. We're very flawed. And we have both participated in some criminal activity in our past. We're not the ones to lead with putting more Black and brown people in the criminal justice system.
Yeah, and we're not a holier than thou. Like, we don't take that approach like we're better than anyone. And we don't try to grandstand on certain morals. And frankly, the more we dug into dated people who are in the police force and the types of decisions that they have to make on a daily basis, there's a lot of gray area. And there are opportunities where they can take this or that, and they're not necessarily both right or wrong. And it's just sort of the way you approach it and the optimal outcome.
Right, yeah. Well, I love that you're thinking
like where
about
people, live.
Yeah, where people live. I love that you're thinking about, like, let's do the show, let's make it entertaining, let's get our lives, but also what can we model within the context? Because I think another way you're both doing this is that, you're both wonderful moms. And I've heard you've also thought about making the set kid friendly, which was like, oh, okay. So I wanted to ask you both, what are ways in which having a kid friendly set help you both do your jobs as producers and actors?
Well, that's open to the entire production.
Okay.
Cast, crew,
for everybody.
Writer's room, like everyone has the ability to have their family there, have access to, nursing station, nursing, place, as Jessica says, dignified places to, nourish your child. Like we had an LA teacher strike, and there were gaps in childcare. There were kids on set, and instead of treating it like a nuisance or shaming people or guilting people
or not allowing them to come to work and get that check.
Wow.
They came to work.
Yeah.
And we figure it out.
Yeah.
And we still magically made our day, because happier, healthier cast members and crew members make better, more productive employees. And that's just the bottom line. And we don't take the stance of, because your check clears, we own your life, like a lot of companies do. We want to come in, do great work, and do it as efficiently and as respectfully as possible, so you get to lead full lives.
I love it. I love it. I also heard that you were the first person to find out that she was pregnant with her daughter, which is such a great, secret, a joyful secret between friends. But what was it like kind of having to keep that good news to yourself? How'd you do that?
No one's asked her.
Oh, no one's asked me that. I took it in and then I tried to forget it. Because I didn't want it to come out accidentally.
Okay.
And then I would only sort of just ask, because you never know how it's going to go.
Okay.
And I didn't want to assume anything. And so I was really delicate with Gab about it, because she's like, we don't know what's going to happen. But this is what we're doing. And I was like, I'll pray for you. And then just like, hey, how's it going?
How's it going?
And then she would just either talk about it or not over DM or texting. And that was it. But when we were shooting the show, she was like, it's happening. And it's going to happen during production. And I was like, we got it. And so I coordinated I was like, tell me when you tell the boys who helped co-create the show. And we just figured out the schedule and the storyline and everything to make sure that she had that time.
I love it.
And she gave me extra time, because I was only supposed to have 2 weeks. And Jess was like, she needs more time.
Okay.
And that all falls on her. Because if I'm not there, usually we split the work. And if I'm not there, that means it's more that she has to do. And she was like, I got this. And so take all the time you need. So I got an additional week, and she just held it down. And I arrived back to set, and my trailer is tricked out to look exactly like her trailer. It's a nursery. It's ready for me to bring my baby to work, so I don't have to miss any moments either.
I love it. That's just great. It's like, it's beautiful. It's
and
thoughtful.
there was tequila in there as well.
Okay. All right. That's how we know.
And
That's
a
how we know.
cashmere blanket.
And a cashmere blanket.
To be nice and cozy.
That's when your girls
With
really
my
got
tequila.
you. I love it. Well, one more question before I let you go. Again, you don't shy away from Twitter conversations. And something I saw, I was like, this is a pickle. And so I'm going to take it to Gabrielle Union, as I do with all my pickles. Ayesha Curry, her conversation on Red Table Talk, again, it's like every time, unfortunately, she speaks up, no matter what she says, the backlash is really overwhelming. And I understand that, what she said in the past, rightfully so, upset a lot of people. But I wanted to ask you, as someone who, of course, has been in the public eye, your relationship with Dwayne, you're not new to, the dynamic in which she finds herself. Is there any advice you would have for her, or someone who identifies with that situation of just being like, I feel like there is nothing I can say that doesn't just invite all of this scrutiny?
Well, we're both, close with Ayesha.
Yeah.
We were both at her birthday party. She was honest, and she told her truth. And no matter what your truth is, there are going to be people who do not like it. And
understand it, or understand the context and understand your journey.
Or care to try to understand her perspective and what she's talking about. There were so many group chats going on, like just in life,
just blowing up
from that conversation. And there was not one mother who did not understand what she was talking about. And even for the people who were like the guys that were talking about it, they were like, yeah, but did she have to say it publicly? And I said, but if she doesn't share her truth publicly, there's a lot of other people who are out there, feeling like they're alone on an island when that island is overcrowded.
It's a nation.
And in the same way that I talked about my fertility journey, talked about being a sexual assault survivor, talked about relationship challenges, talking about the LGBTQ plus community, everyone always has something to say. And I would always rather err on the side of truth and transparency and authenticity and let the chips fall where they may than hold on to my journey. And when I could be helping other people and identifying with other people and making people feel less alone than holding all that in. I mean, we were talking the other day, Jessica did a post, a bipartisan post saying, remember to vote. She didn't say where to vote, how to vote, who to vote for, death threats.
And I did say, hey, women, remember we are half the population, and a lot of the things that are up for, up for debate and certain people are rooting for or against affect our lives.
Absolutely.
So just vote.
That's not just your truth, that's the truth.
And that's death threats.
Literally death threats.
Like actual death threats. So when we put it all in perspective, Ayesha's talking about her truth and how she feels. And if people actually watch that entire Red Table Talk, the Curry women dropped so many jewels and so much truth. Sister talked about concussions and how, like the effect that's had. Like everyone was really brutally honest. Instead of that 2-minute clip, if they watched the whole thing, it was a much larger conversation about mental health and self-care and healing. It was a very important episode. But when we actually get into, when we share our truth, what the consequence can be, like death threats, let's all give it a beat. Just for 1 second, say what perspective are they coming from? It may not be my life. It might not be how I might articulate it. But it's okay to share your space. That's also being
we're going to need more wine.
We're going to need more wine.
And we're going to hear this out.
But real intersectional feminism is embracing all of our intersections that make us who we are as women, and that's okay. You don't have to agree with it without trashing somebody.
That's true.
Well,
or threatening their life.
At the very least.
And Gab and I, what we wanted to do on this show is we wanted to show to women as well that don't agree, but we're not competitive. And at the end of the day, we sort of agree to disagree. We take different approaches and we keep it moving. And I think that's important in us being executive producers, showing to women who can have a very entertaining, action-packed, funny, all the things, but you also see a dynamic and a relationship in two women that you don't normally get to see in entertainment out in the world at this level or at this scale.
Well, I so appreciate that you found so many ways to do this and model it for all of us. We glow because of your shine. So thank you. Guys, you can watch Jessica and Gabby on LA's Finest on Monday nights on Spectrum.